I've always loved your runs into the goal. You always put that pressure on the goalkeeper. But the one thing I noticed this year, there's a spot when we were playing the Rec Plus team, because you had the guts and the courage to try out for that team. And it was when they only had 10, you're like, Coach, I'm going to go play over there because they need me. And that just spoke a lot about your character, and that really stood out. I think that's what our team is about. Not only just playing good soccer, but having good character and good courage and being brave like that. And that's always a good thing. So really proud of you. Good job. Get one of those flowers. Joy Greenwood.
Oh.
Where are you? Joy. You know, I found some pictures of you when you were little. They might be over. It might have been over there.
I saw some.
Yeah, they are there, huh? Yeah, some of you have been coaching for a long time. What I've noticed about you that I haven't always noticed is that, I always knew that you love soccer, but I didn't realize always how passionate you are when other people are playing it. I don't know if you guys have watched the film or whatnot. If you haven't, you should, because Colin does a great job. And a shout out to him.
Yeah.
They're all on his channel, and you can go back and watch great goals and collisions that people survive, and things like that. Me pointing and doing all this kind of stuff. But there's a time in this last game in Newport, or maybe it was Corvallis, where somebody shot and you just went like this, like you just wanted it so bad. And I just love how you support everybody like that. I don't know how many total goals you've had over the years, but lots of goals. But being that team player is super huge, and I really appreciate all that passion that you have for the game. All right?
And it's our last season with Joy.
Yeah.
So that's sad.
Macy,
We could cheat.
don't worry, she'll have Abby back soon. All right. Macy, this was a good season for you because you really grew a lot. There was a lot more challenge, I think, in this newer league, and you really rose to it. I think your best match was maybe 2 weeks ago against the Rec Plus, where you kind of came in a little dinged up with your back, and you scored 2 goals, and I kept thinking, maybe you should be dinged up a little more often. But you were always good about being coachable, and when we said play D, you played really good defense, and you always got back up the field, and you were willing to attack the back post and make shots and goal on the front line. I really appreciate you for that. Good job. I believe.
Everybody's taking them.
I like those. Allie, there's a few words when I think of you. I think of being steady. You're on the field. You always keep your cool. You always are looking. You have a great vision of the field. Watching some of the film, some of the passes you get off, like, how did you get that off? Like, how did you see that? From your point of view, it must have been really clear. You're always dependable. Like we can always ask things of you, and you rise up for that. And it's great to have a player on the field like that. And you work so hard on the field. This last game, I thought between you and the other midfielders, you guys were playing super well and staying connected. You've really grown a lot in that midfield this year, so I really appreciate it. Good work.
Yay! Woo!
Brenna, the other midfielder. Brenna, what a season you had. This is one of your best seasons I think you've ever had. And having you play in the midfield the way you did this year, you really rose to the occasion. You're even willing to play defense a couple times on the outside, filling in for Reagan or Emily or whoever is hurt. And you were asking questions on the bench, which is super important so that you can grow. In Corvallis, she was super focused. She's like, Coach, I want to get back out there. And it wasn't like out of maliciousness or like angry. She was just like, I like to fight and I want to get back in it. And I really needed you that game because you really rose to the occasion. That was one of your best games against Corvallis. It was one of your best games this year. So good work. Good work. Layla, right down the midfield. Layla, you're our muscle. when we need someone to shut somebody down in the midfield, it's her. I'm like, okay, number 8, you gotta watch number 8. Number 2, we'll watch number 2. Layla, no more runs past half line, because we need you back there. Even though you have beautiful runs and you make, it's really fun to watch you play because being left-footed, it catches a lot of people off guard. It's not used to that. It's really, and then you really developed well and found a spot in the midfield over the past 2 seasons. So that's really done a good job. So good work, good work, good work. Our lockdown person, Abby Edwards. Abby. I don't know if you ever watched her footwork defensively, but it's really good. It's really good. She's got one foot in front of the other one, so she can pivot and do all that kind of stuff. You do that so naturally. It's just really good. The thing that came out this year for you were your free kicks. Like, I knew you had good crosses and whatnot, but your free kicks, I think all of them were on frame. The goalkeeper in Newport got her hands on one. Otherwise, that was going in. So what a super awesome thing to be able to have that offensive weapon on the field. So that was really good job. Taking some corners too. Kyla. Kyla, I know if you've heard her, but you probably have. When she's in goal, she's always talking. Of all the people on the field, I think I hear you the most.
She's bored.
She's like all kinds of stuff. So that communication, I always think in soccer is super huge because a lot of times we play with our heads down or we're watching the ball and we need to have somebody there. And being that goalkeeper, you see everything, so you can really direct it. And to have a team, to have a goalkeeper as vocal as you are doing, really helps the team out. It helps them organize. It helps them shift better, and get a spear point on that ball so we can stop it. Abby Mack. Sorry, Macy. Oh, you got a blanket. Thank you for keeping Macy warm. She looks really cold over there. Yeah. Abby, you've always been somebody that has a lot of strength and command on the field. And I've been so thankful for you. You've been one of our center backs for a long time and really grew into that position and really between you and Abby, some of the best center backs we have in the league. But this year we got to play you up front a little bit more, and I think you really like that. I loved how you were able to play a different style than what we would have. And so a lot of times our kind of style is get the ball up, look for some runs, try to get extra people in the box. But with Abby in there, especially when that defense was a little tired, she could find her space, she could hold the ball a little closer to her body, and you kind of have an idea where the posts are, even if you're not looking at them, and so you can turn and fire. And it's hard to stop a shot like that when you turn and fire, so I'm really proud of you. I'm glad you got some goals this year. Try to get some goals after stopping the shot, so good job. Let's see here. Jenna. This is a weird year, Jenna. Not because you're here, but because we had like this was the first season we had a lot of injuries that we had to kind of work through, right? And Emily was hurt for about a month or so. We had different people out for different reasons, and I remember one of her first games, well, who's going to play the outside defense? And I was like, Jenna's going to do it. And you just rose to that occasion. I remember you asking you about it, how you felt. She goes, you get to play a lot more because you kind of hold that a little bit. But it was super fun because you can make some of those runs like you were a winger out of that back spot. And that's kind of the next step. If we can get those outside people up and overload, not with just our front four, but get those people up there as well. It's super huge. So. And in the last few games, you got to play as a winger. So, way to be flexible, way to be going to be wherever you needed to be. And I really appreciate that about you because you were just fun to be out there. So, good work. got some style, kid. The Kohana style. We need that style here. One thing that happened this year for you is that I think your shot developed a lot more. There's a couple times in practice or in warm-ups where coaches were like, Coach, we gotta make sure Kohana gets in there because she's ripping it today. That was really fun to see. The other thing that you've always done super well is always follow shots into the box, and that's always a good thing because you never know when that goalkeeper is going to mess it up and whatnot, and it's going to get her happen or what. So I think you continue to develop and grow, and you've always been very coachable and super close to me too. Reagan's not here. Leo's not here. Emily's not here. Real quick about Reagan. I think one of her best games was against Newport this last week. She contained their winger super well, and it was that winger we thought.
Yeah.
Like I went back to the other Newport game, it was number 13.
Yeah.
And she's really good, really talented, and Reagan held her own against her and won a lot of the matchups. We have a lot of dual sport athletes on our squad, and Reagan's a softball player. Vivian, I would love to put Vivian because she has a different style, but a different kind of playing style, which can kind of mess up other teams, so to speak. One of her best games was we were short a bunch of girls because of injury, I think, and we ended up putting her as a forward because she can distribute the ball really well to runners walking on or running through, and that was a good role for her. And she's always good about keeping the ball really close to her body, and she can make those tight turns on it. Probably some of the best on the squad. And then Emily, I don't know if you knew about Emily, but she pulled a high quad muscle, and that's why she was kind of in and out a little bit. For her, the word for me was like perseverance. She just stuck with it. If you know Emily, it's hard for her just to sit and let things kind of rest. But for her just to get that healed up and to get that body the way it should be really helped us. And like this last game at Newport, we kind of had all the pieces at full strength, and it kind of really showed. Ella, you're my last one. All right. Ella, I think you got the heart, the grit of this team. I think that not only this last fall, but into this season, I think you've learned to rise up and handle the pressure that the game gives you in a good way, a positive way, in a way where it doesn't overload you, but you're able to handle that and then also help keep our wits on the field as well, right? Super huge, and it's good for a coach to have somebody on the field that is like a second coach, and that's what I can see you becoming, is kind of like that, and have that ability. I don't know who scored the most goals, so I didn't keep track. I think it was a variety of people. I know 6-7 people had goals this year. I don't know if anyone had like a ton more than others. It was kind of a group effort. The one thing that the Tigerlilies have always been good about is teamwork. You don't ever see them arguing with each other out there on the field. They work together, and that helps us get around so many teams. If you ever watched the film that Colin films, watch the fives after the goals. People coming up and hugging and fives. I love that. It shows a lot of team camaraderie. All these girls are super coachable. Like we can ask them to do something and try something, and that might complain a little bit, but then they keep at it, and before they know it, they're doing it. And I honestly, I think we have not some of the best, but the best fans in the entire league. You guys are always been there through the thick and thin, through the rainy games this year. Making that tunnel, cheering on the girls.
Traveling to Newport on a Sunday.
Traveling to Newport on a Sunday, for sure. Overall, we were 5-3, counting our 2 preseason games. We were 3-3 in the Rec Plus League. I believe that Corvallis finished first, and I think Newport and us finished for second, tied to there. And I don't know the tiebreakers on there, but they ended up 3-3. We ended up 3-3 in league. It was really good. We only had 2 losses by a goal this year. And we had that one kind of anomaly where things got away from us. But if you look at the second half of that game, the girls really rose to that game and battled hard. One of my goals for the girls was that they would play in this league and have to learn to play faster with the ball, make your decisions faster, and you can only do that by playing quicker competition. And that's really what the season for me was about. And I think from the beginning of the season to the end, these girls really rose to the occasion. Tournament champs right here, right?
Woo!
And that first game against the Stars was some of the best soccer we have played all year. Just moving the ball. We were just dictating pace, dictating the flow of the game. They didn't know where to look. Super fun. Some of the, the first time, I think Jenna said this, the first time we played Corvallis, we came off and we lost 3-2. The girls were all smiling. And I said, well, how was the game, girls? And Jenna says, that was super fun. It was like playing us. And it really was. That was kind of how the season went. I just want to say thank you for allowing us to coach your girls. They are super fun, and like some of them we've been coaching for what, years? Yeah, years. So we've come a long way since being the little mean greens and the Salt Lake Reals and whatnot. But super fun job. Coaches, anything else? It's been super fun.
One more year.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you. We're gonna try to get a quick little match going on for those who are